He heads up the stairs and reaches the Department of Reptiles and Snakes, and the large lock on the door tells him that nobody has entered the lab in a long while. Entering into the room, he can tell that many snakes have died, since the air is filled with the smell of decay. He looks through the room for a little bit until he eventually finds what he's been looking for, the Golden King Snake, which will mutate into the Water Rattlesnake Army leader. It seems like it has survived for so long by eating all the other snakes. In his previous life, this snake was one of the earliest to undergo mutation, and it ate quite a few people. In fact, it almost swallowed him as well. In about a week, when the flood comes, it will begin to mutate, and it might become so strong that it will become difficult for even him to defeat. Even now, it feels like the snake has already started forming a hint of intelligence. He will need to be cautious around it from now on. As he's looking at the snake, he senses something from outside the room. It seems like some people are here to greet him. The thugs outside the door yell for him to come out. It's useless to hide since they already know that he's hiding in there. Suchin doesn't hide, of course, and comes out with a hand in his pocket and without a care in the world. It's a critical time for him. After all, he can't afford to be disturbed by these guys, so it would be better for him to take care of them quickly. Before he can make the first move, though, a woman swoops in from the shadows and surprises the thugs. She clamps her thighs around the first thug while catching another under her arm and snapping his neck in an instant. Two of them are dead, and she immediately jumps on the third one and grips him by his face. Then she snaps his neck immediately as well, before he has a chance to react. With everyone else dead, Suchin decides to join in on the party and points a gun at the back of her head, complimenting her moves as he threatens her life. She doesn't wait for him to shoot, and instead goes on a counterattack, hitting his hand with her elbow to shift the gun away. Then she jumps on her hands and leaps onto his neck, trying to twist it, but she finds out way too late that his neck is a bit too hard for her to crack like the others. Instead, she's left sitting on his shoulders with her crotch embarrassingly pressing against his face. He takes a moment to breathe in before asking her what exactly she thinks she's doing. After a little bit of struggle, he has her tied up in a questionable position with red ropes, and the gun is once again pointed to her head. With no other option, she finally introduces herself as Baekong, the captain of the Azure Tiger Special Operations Team. Despite her current predicament, she advises him to behave himself and let her go. Suchin ignores her words and asks if she knows someone named Xiao Fong from the Special Forces team. She's surprised that he knows Xiao Fong, and he tells her that he once saved the soldier's life. Not a complete lie, but not the truth either. With that information out in the open, she decides to tell Suchin everything that she knows so far. A group of fugitives took over the school and used students as hostages while they stole weapons. When the zombie horde attacked the rescue point, Xiao Fong led the civilians to leave first, but he didn't expect that some of the prisoners had escaped and infiltrated among the normal civilians. Considering the circumstances, Suchin doesn't think it's her fault that the prisoners escaped. Baekong agrees, and says that as long as they have the proper weapons, then the people have nothing to fear. As she talks, Suchin spawns a grill and uses it to prepare some meat that he eats right in front of her. That makes her uncomfortable enough to ask how long Suchin plans to keep her tied up like this. He agrees to let her go as long as she promises not to clamp his head down with her legs like she did before. She agrees to that, but only if he lets her have some steak too. After he unties her ropes and she gets her hands on her guns again, she tells him that she has her own things to deal with, meaning that she can't help him too much for now. All she can do is provide some power support. That won't be necessary, and he tells her to hurry up and leave before she ends up bothering him. She reminds him that she actually plans to sneak attack their stronghold and retrieve the looted goods, so the people trapped in the college can survive. Because of that, this might be the only time they meet. She turns to leave, but the promise of more supplies causes him to call her back. He lies that Xiao Fong is his brother, and because of that, he plans to help her out, but his true motivation is clearly the supplies that she's after. The supplies are located in a room in the administrative block, and inside there, a group of thugs with guns hold multiple students hostage while guarding the looted supplies. The boss of the gang asks his subordinate how things are going, and the low-level thug replies that most of the guys are waiting outside and they are ready to storm the students in the dorm. The boss smiles as all his plans start coming together, and he says that those who weren't cooperative in the beginning should be at the front, while the less cooperative guard the back. As they're talking, someone breaks down the door to their hideout and interrupts the meeting. It's Suchin, and he calmly apologizes for disrupting their gathering. The thugs freak out and ask who he is and how he managed to break in when there are more than 20 people guarding the room from outside. He tells them he got in really easily, and shows them a demonstration by lifting his finger and pointing it at the man that asked him the question. Then, he goes bang, and the man's head explodes in an instant, as he falls to the ground dead. As the other thugs scream in horror, Suchin tells them that if they move, then they will die. Meanwhile, Bi Chang looks through a sniper scope from the roof of the building opposite the administrative block. She's the one that has been taking out the thugs, as well as providing sniper support to Suchin the entire time. Even with that, however, there are still many thugs in the room, which makes this a very dangerous situation. Suchin's plan to lure the enemy in alone is way too risky, in her opinion. But the man insisted that he get it done solo. He was the one that gave her the sniper rifle and told her to take an outpost on the roof of the opposite building. The plan is to shoot wherever he points, and use that to scare the thugs. It's a really absurd plan, and she has no idea why she agreed to it in the first place. But there's no turning back now. Suddenly, the curtains close, and she calls Suchin in a panic, asking how it's going on his end. Instead of his voice in response, she hears the other thugs laughing, now that they have figured out that he set up a sniper outside. It seems like she has been spotted, just like she knew she would be, and things have turned dire for our protagonist. With no other choice left, she rushes off the building and makes a mad dash toward the administrative block to save her temporary companion. Hopefully, Suchin can find a way to stall for time while she rushes to rescue him. As she runs through the campus, she hears someone on the other end order for Suchin to be killed. There isn't much time, and Suchin must already be dead.